opportunity to meet somebody with such a mindset. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along. Today we're very fortunate to have on board Stevey, who is an incredible business owner. He's also a incredible athlete because he's actually ran 100 marathons in 100 days. And we're going to be tapping into the mindset of Stevey, asking him a few questions, how he did it. But Stevey, if you would like to tell people about where you're from, why you've done this, first of all, and just a bit about your background. So a quick introduction from Stevey. Go ahead there, Steve.
Yeah, sure. For this past 7 years, I've been helping people to achieve results in the area of business, health, relationships, all different types of things. But no matter what you're dealing with, it's always the same strategies. So an opportunity came up to put the main set strategies to test whenever I met a man called Lori Maguire. Lori came to the seminar that we were running, and he shared a vision with himself about running 100 marathons in 100 days in memory of his sister Laura, who died at the age of 7. And the purpose of doing these 100 marathons in 100 days was to lift the bar of limitations that people have in their mind and raise the possibilities, and at the same time to raise a lot of much needed funds for children's charities. So on the 22nd of May this year, I set out, and myself and Laurie set out to run 100 marathons in 100 days. Unfortunately, before we finished, Laurie got pneumonia and wasn't able to complete. But done a great feat of completing over 55 marathons and done 44 marathons in a row, which surpassed anyone else previous in the country. I was fortunate to continue on and complete the 100 marathons in 100 days. So on the 29th of August in Gosford Park in Armagh, I finished marathon number 100. The remarkable thing was that along the way, a lot of people had thought that you would have got slower and you'd have got hurt and you'd have got tired, but I found that with each day passed, I became more energized and the times got faster. And it was a great opportunity to be able to apply the mindset training that I had been learning for about 12 years and had been teaching for about 7 years, to put it into action. And I found that made all the difference in the world.
Yeah, now that's incredible that you say that, Stevey. But for most people, even just running one marathon is a major achievement in their life. You know, so what pushed you on? It must have been something else rather than just what I'd say is achieving something, because when somebody runs a marathon, that's it. That's kind of like a life achievement for them. So what really pushed you beyond the limits of just going day after day to run 100 marathons?
I'd say, first of all, for me, sometimes whenever you think about a goal like that and you think to yourself, right, I've done 10 marathons, I've got 90 marathons left, and it can seem like such an insurmountable task. And for me, I worked a lot on the mind before I even got to that point. So, for example, I would use reference points. So a lot of people, if they're going to run a marathon, they would be using language like they send themselves, look, it's going to be hard, it's going to be tough, I might get injured, there's going to be all these different challenges, and they'll be thinking of the challenges, and as you think of the challenges, they become obstacles. Whereas I would have communicated to myself and communicated in mind over and over again, the things that I would have thought about would have been, it's going to be an adventure. I'm really going to enjoy it. It's going to be like a holiday. I'm going to be running in different places. I'm going to be meeting different people. I'm going to be outside all day. The sun's going to be shining. I'm going to get to eat lots of food. And I constantly would have fed my mind the things that would give me pleasure. So I wanted to move towards those things. Human beings are motivated by two factors. And the first factor that they're motivated by is they're motivated to move away from pain. We're actually wired more to move away from pain. And think about, like, if you put your hand on a hot stove or a hot radiator, instantly you lift it off. That's your reptilian brain, your primal brain, telling you, to move forward. We're motivated by pain. And the second thing we're motivated by is we're motivated to move towards pleasure. And it's just understanding which one you're more motivated by. And the thing that motivated me me, and this was moving towards the pleasure more than anything else. So I would constantly fed in the mind the benefits of it. Then I would also use the other reference points as well too. Like for example, there's many a man out there and many a woman too to that fact out there that are constantly, they're doing hard labour every single day of their life, you know. I myself was a painter and decorator by trade when I was younger, and I've done that for many years, from I was 14 till I was 24. And we would have been rolling a thing called block filler out in Philadelphia, which was a very, very heavy paint. We'd have been using 18-inch rollers, and we'd have been using this paint that was so heavy and thick, rather than putting plaster on the wall, we used this paint to fill the blocks. And I would be doing that for 8 hours a day, sweating the bit out every single day, 6 days of the week. And I wasn't getting any medals for it. Nobody was ever saying to me, your shoulders are going to wear out. Now I'd use other reference points, for example, like my grandfather. My grandfather worked in the quarry for a large part of his life with a hammer and a pick. And when he didn't do that, he went to work on the roads with a spade. And that was his life, you know. So I would have used all these different types of reference points and fed them to the mind all the time to make it easier. And so the thing is whatever you become to believe in your mind, truly come to believe in your mind, you act upon it and you act from that, you know. Like a very interesting thing was I constantly told myself that after 10 marathons it was going to get easier. After 10 marathons it was going to get easier, like for 2.5 years. And if you ask me now, I would say for the first 10 marathons, it was like somebody beating you up, physically beating you up every single day. If you can imagine someone having 2 lump hammers and just hitting your hips constantly all the time, that's what it was like. But after day 10, the legs started to get easier and my body started to move faster and the time started to come down. And then as I went on through the journey, I began to win races and I began to win marathons, and I actually ended up winning a thing called the Quadrathon. It'd be one of the most revered races in Ireland. It's up in Donegal and you run 4 marathons in 4 days. I think at that stage we were in marathon 84, 85, 86 and 87. And but the funny thing is why did it get easier for my body after 10? And I look back on it as going, you told yourself it was going to get easier after 10. And it's just, it is bizarre, it is strange how the impact that the mind can have on the body, but also the impact that the body can have on the mind as well too. So there's been a lot of different things that I would have played, that I would have learned from Anthony Robbins. I'm one of Anthony Robbins' leaders, and I've studied with Anthony directly from 2006. I've been studying his books from 2001. And he would always talk about there's 3 things that determine your emotional state of mind. And your emotional state of mind is basically determines how you act. If you think about emotion, the word emotion actually means energy in motion, which is about movement. And the first thing that determines your emotional state of mind and determines how you feel, and how you feel determines how you act, is your physiology, the way that you hold your physiology. There was a competition whenever we were doing the marathons among a lot of people, and the competition was to see if you could get a photograph of me without me smiling. And there was only one particular group that was able to, the local paper here was able to get a photograph of me smiling, because whenever I was running, I'd be smiling, they would call me the smiling man. Now, I wasn't just smiling because I was happy, like I was happy, but there was also a reason and a technique behind it. Because whenever you're smiling, whenever your head's up, your shoulders are back, you're relaxed and you're smiling. When you're smiling, even if you're in pain and you're smiling, what's happening is you're signaling to your brain that you feel good and you feel happy. So the thoughts and the mind and the ideas can tell the body how to feel, but the body can also tell the mind how to feel. So I would be running and I'd be smiling. And the more pain I felt, the more I'd smile. And the more I'd smile, then the easier it would get. So that would be the first thing for helping, you know. As Kevin, as you shared there already too, about like, I've had a lot of business owners, I've had a lot of athletes, a lot of different people over this last 7 years to achieve results, and that's what I phrase myself as a results coach. There's a lot of very significant results there. I'll not go into them tonight, but that would be one of the very, very first things. And the second thing is the language. The language that you tell yourself is vitally important. Particularly the language that you tell yourself in here, internal and external. But if you ever want to know what your language is internal, all you have to do is check your language external. So every now and again, someone will come up to me, maybe you've done 20, 25 marathons, 50 marathons, whatever, and they'd be giving me a compliment. And the way they'd be giving me a compliment would be saying, you're a machine. You're a machine. And like, I appreciate the compliments, you know, and it's all mean well, and definitely, absolutely, totally. But I would never accept that in my mind, that you're a machine, because in my mind, I would have in my mind a machine breaks down. A machine doesn't have the ability to rejuvenate itself. A machine can't let the cell die away from it and then rejuvenate the cells back again. But a human being can. So every night, before I went to bed, I would run a rejuvenation program. I know the members of the High Achievers Club there have that rejuvenation program. We have a thing called 12 Habits of a High Achiever. And there's one particular section where I wrote a program called The Power of Rejuvenation. And I wrote that because that's what I play. I've been playing that from the age of 28. And not only did it help me heal my body as I was going through the marathons, because a lot of people would say it's impossible to go out and run another marathon after you've run one the day before, or impossible after you've done 99 to do number 100. But I have used that to rejuvenate the cells. Not only did I use that to rejuvenate the cells, there I said at the age of 28 was the first time that I came on to the power of rejuvenation. And it was affirmed to me by two people, and one of them was a guy called Dr. Joseph Murphy. You might have read the book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And it talks about the ability that you have as a human being to heal your own body. And now, at that time, I suffered from serious back pains and shoulder pains. At the age of 18, I was involved in a lot of Gaelic football, which is a hard-hitting sport. I would have been very thick and stubborn type of individual at that stage. And I went out to play a football match, and a big hefty fella hit me a shoulder in there, and he ended up breaking the fracture in my shoulder. Now at the time I didn't know that my shoulder was broke, and it was towards the end of the match, so I wouldn't let them cut the jersey off me. I got the jersey off anyway, and I rested for a week or two, and I went back playing football after that. I hadn't went to the hospital, and I was only out, and I was up for the ball, and I caught the ball. I reckon it's the highest I ever jumped in my life, and I was taken from my feet, and I went down, and I just hit the ground, bang, and my left shoulder popped out, and I dislocated my left shoulder. So I went to the hospital, and I put it back in, and the next day after they gave me the knocked me out, the laughing gas and all, the good laugh at me running around mad. And they told me that, you know, you actually had your right shoulder was fractured, and you know, you dislocated this shoulder that's seen the previous injury. So I suffered for 10 years with shoulder pain. I couldn't lay on this shoulder. I couldn't lay on this shoulder. I could only lay on the back or lay on the flat. And I read this in this book called Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. And I read this thing about the ability to heal your own body and about the power of suggestion. And I've been reading and studying all this stuff because I've also been studying along with Bob Proctor at the time from The Secret. And they had to say, you know what, I'm going to play this. So I suggested it to myself, and I played it, and I fully believed in it, and I gave it absolute certainty, and not by trying. I never had a pain in the shoulders. Now, so what brought... where previous to this, if I had been going to a disco when I was younger, I had been asking people to pop my dislocated shoulder back in again, because if I hadn't been doing the wrong type of moves, it wouldn't be right.
So you were doing a lot of reading at that stage, and obviously being around a lot of positive thinking. That was the main drive for you to make that shift and that change at that time of your life. So that was quite early on that you had this thought process, yeah?
Yeah. It began for me around about 2001. The whole process of it before books. I wouldn't have been into books. Well, I hadn't read a book in choosing probably in 10 years. Obviously, it's things you had to do in school.
Yeah, sure.
But I wasn't read a book in choosing for like 10 years, and I hadn't read any books. But I was at a point in my life where I wasn't happy. I wasn't being myself. I wasn't living, if you know what I mean. I was just existing. And I was sick and tired of it, you know. and I asked for help. For me, I prayed, and I got an answer straight away. And the answer was, stop your whining and your moaning. Look what you have: 2 eyes, 2 hands. You know, you might know everything, but from here you can go wherever you want. You can go wherever you want. And then that led me on to discovering books. Just by discovering them, by meaning walking through a shopping centre and having a look to the left and a book just standing out, and just being drawn to it, and just picking it up and buying it.
So using this kind of mindset, you started out. Obviously, you were training beforehand. It wasn't something that you just kind of suddenly went into, but you would have used your mindset, your positive mindset, in relation to maybe seeing yourself already accomplishing the first couple of marathons. Would that be fair to say?
As soon as Lori shared it with me, it was November 2012, and he shared it with me. The very first question, and in fact, that he asked me, I met Lori down in Dublin. We had a wee bit of a group running down in Dublin. I'd never seen Lori before, and Declan and I had organised this bit of a group, and he'd sent out word that we were doing this positive group, and we went down, and I spoke at it, and this guy came up to me at the end. He was quite intense look, blue eyes, and the very first question he asked me was, "Do you run?" And at that time, I thought about it. I'd been running maybe about 3.4 miles every couple of weeks, just from where I live, and I said, yes, I do run, and that was it. There was no more conversation about it. But it led on to later on, then coming out, and when Lori shared it with me up here, I got this image came to my mind, and I seen myself running. Now, at that time, you knew me anyway, Kevin. I didn't have a beard, and I didn't have long hair, but I respect, I was shaved, and I probably looked about 10 years younger than I look now, anyway.
Yeah.
I seen the vision, and I knew in myself, I had a certainty, and I knew that I could do that. And I said I would do it. And I went out and I ran 5 miles. I said I'm going to run 5 miles every day for the next 30 days, which I did do, which was the 17th of November to the 17th of December. And it was as challenging as anything else, but the drive behind it was many things. Like, you could feel pain when you're running, but a lot of people go through pain every single day of their life, you know. And particularly if there's children out there and they're going through pain every single day of their life, that's very tough on them, and even tougher on their parents. And I remember there's a girl, Charlene McGrory, she's a lovely girl. She went out, she was a member of the Head Achievers Club at the time, and she went out to Chernobyl. Her and a couple of other girls, they were involved with the Rose of Tralee. They were different roses from different counties, and they went out to Chernobyl, and they done this work, and they videoed it, and they showed all the guys in the Head Achievers Club this video, and there wasn't a dry eye in the house. It was heart wrenching to see these kids, and you had care, but very, very little compared to what we'd have, you know. And there was times whenever I did have it tough and that, and I would just have thought of those children, and I would have thought of other people. And I can remember running through Phoenix Park at times, you know, that it could have been tough in your mind, and it was almost that it was getting insane. So I could think, oh, tough today, and the next thing I'd see somebody pushing a young fella down the road in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? It just sort of bang. You have the ability to do this.
Puts everything into perspective.
The ability to do this. Like, when you have the ability to do something, and it doesn't matter what you can do, or you don't have to be the fastest, or even if it's walking or whatever, but you have the ability to move. Use that ability. And, you know, if you can use that ability to help anybody in a good way, well, it's a good thing, because it also gets you out of your own pain. Because sometimes we can go into our own story of our poor me, and why we've got it so bad, and why we've got it so hard, and how come things aren't working out in our life, and all the rest of the stuff. You know, we all have those challenges, you know what I mean? And when we think of those things, it makes us smaller as a person, and it makes life harder. But whenever we look at the good things that we have, and and we put them to good use, and we see how we maybe can help others and relieve in some way, then it makes your life easier. It mightn't solve all of your challenges, but it makes you happier and more joyous, and it's actually easier. It's easier to use the things that you have, I suppose.
Steve, I just have Gary here. Gary's just asked a question. Do you work on your mindset every day?
Often, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Definitely, yeah. Because it's always there. You know what I mean? You're never getting away from your mind. It's there now. You know what I mean? So like I'm talking now, so you could be talking and somebody could be listening here, and there could be a thought going on in their mind, or they could be listening. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you always have to pull yourself into that present moment of time. And I feel your mind is like a garden. You know, if you don't work on the garden, well, what happens to the garden if you don't work on the garden? You know what I mean?
So okay, so obviously we all wake up in the morning, and the morning time I probably think is, a lot of people just kind of struggle out of bed, and they kind of are a bit foggy maybe in the morning time. But obviously with the mindset and that kind of stuff, I would think that the morning time would be the best time to get yourself straight. Would that be something that you would agree with?
The morning time is the best time to go to bed in time. You know what I mean?
Well, that is true. That is true.
And if you don't eat too late at night, too late at night, and especially if you eat sugary food, you're going to feel it. You know what I mean? If you eat sugary food late at night, or you eat bread late at night, it's going to feel a bit like a hangover whenever you get up, because it's the same stuff. It's gluey, you know. But if you don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed, and I generally be good at that, but sometimes it maybe wouldn't be wonderful at it. The good thing about marathons, when you run marathons, you need a lot of food, so you can. But the morning time is definitely, I would agree with you, Kevin, it's definitely one of the most sacred times. You get up in the morning, it's like, every day gives you, it's an opportunity. The sun rises every morning, it's saying, look, it's a new day. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. It's a new day. It doesn't matter what way you were thinking yesterday. It's a new day. You can start to think and build from that freshness. We used to have a headmaster in school, and used to go in September, and he'd say, right, boys, it's time to turn over a new leaf. You know what I mean? And you think, oh, that's great. You know what I mean? I have a lot of homework that I didn't get done last year, and stuff laying sitting that didn't work out, and I can throw all that in the bin, and I can turn over a new leaf. But every day is an opportunity to turn over a new leaf, And I think life's short. It's short, and you think to yourself, how long are you going to live for? So how long are you going to live for doing what you want to do, and being who you want to be, really being yourself? Or are you going to live? How long are you going to live not doing what you want to do and not being yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, in the sidebar here, we've got some people coming in from LA and places like that all over the world, and they are asking some great questions. So, guys, just a quick recap for you. Stevie obviously has run 100 marathons in 100 days. What an incredible achievement. And we're talking about the mindset of a winner. And that's basically what Stevie is, because to be able to go out there and accomplish such greatness, and this guy is so humble, it's incredible. But, if you want to ask a question in the side box, just / in the box here, question space, and then just tap in your question. I'm just kind of doing that as an example. You see the question coming up on the sideline. It just makes it slightly easier for us to figure out what the questions are. So, Stevie, you're setting out on this journey, right? You're on day one. You're at the start of the line. You said about that process that you had gone through your mind, that you said that you had 10. Once you got through the 10, it would be easier. Looking back on that, do you think because you had said that it's going to be 10, it's going to be easier, that if you hadn't said that, it might have been slightly easier, or would that have been unrealistic?
I think it's funny that I had always said that. I always had said that. And I'll give you a shot for 10, you know what I mean? And I got to do Tom, where I'm just thinking it's going to get easier after 10, But
yeah,
the key thing about it is you can have a goal, you know what I mean? And I see myself before achieving big goals and achieving them and getting to the top of the mountain, as they say, so to speak, like it was all about getting to the top of the mountain, but it wasn't always necessarily about enjoying the journey. I'm just looking here. I can see this picture behind me. You can see this. You see this picture here behind me here?
Yep.
You can't really see it that close. Well, that's a fella called Gary Haven and his wife, Diane Haven. And they founded Curves International, which was a franchise. Gary himself actually spent a little bit of time in jail because he wasn't able to pay family support to the previous wife. And then he had built himself up to 17 gyms, and then it failed, and he went bankrupt and all different types of stuff. He's from Texas, Waco in Texas, and he became a huge success. Whenever I had my wedding, there's another photograph here. That's my house there. You can't really see it, but there's a marquee there. This guy Gary Haven, he flew over in his plane from Texas himself. He can fly the plane himself and come up and came to the wedding, and on the way he picked up another girl from England. But he was completely down and out, and then he achieved 10,000 franchises globally. But at that time there, when I'm standing in the middle of that photograph, and the reason I have that photograph there is because I won International Franchisee of the Year out of 5,000 businesses globally, and they flew me over to Las Vegas and they presented me with this plaque. But at that time, we built that business. That first one, that was the first one we built in Uri. We still have that. That was 12 years ago. But we built that business up to 13 gyms, and we had 5,000 members on direct debit, and we had 65 employees. They were all ladies. What I can remember, my goal was always to have 5,000 members. But the way that I went about it was very different than the way that I go about achieving something now. Because at that time, it was all about getting to the top of the mountain. Could everybody just not see whenever we get there, everything's going to be all right, everything's going to work out. So along the way, it didn't matter, you know what I mean, if you broke loads of eggs and things like that there, and there was a lot of intense energy. And
sure.
The energy sometimes is very, very intense in the wrong direction. It can even turn to aggression sometimes. Then what happens is you have to de-stress from that, you know what I mean? And that can be a lot of hard work. And that's actually what puts a lot of people off from achieving big goals, because they don't have the ability to manage their emotional state of mind. And whenever I began to train with Anthony Robbins and became one of Anthony Robbins' leaders, that was the key thing that I learned, was how to manage your emotional state of mind. Because regardless of if you're going to go to achieve a big goal, and I would encourage everybody to go and achieve big goals, because that's what helps you grow as a person, and that's what helps you give back and contribute and feel better about yourself. And in every way, you may as well. Well, that's why you're here.
So are you saying?
So what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter what your circumstances are, because everybody's got challenges no matter where they're at. We all have challenges, but the key thing is how you manage your emotional state of mind. So I was lucky and blessed that I learned this stuff and had an opportunity to apply it. So my key thing, Kevin, getting back to your question, was my key thing whenever I was running the marathons was, I always said to myself, keep it lighthearted. Keep it lighthearted. Keep it lighthearted. And every day, my very first goal, every single day when I was running the marathon was to enjoy it. My first goal is, I'm going to enjoy this. And every day, whenever you go into work or you go into business, or no matter what you're doing, or you go home, see your wife or your husband or whatever, boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever it is, the first goal should be to enjoy it. And as the last man asked earlier on about, do you work on your mind every single Saturday day? And I'd say, yes, I definitely do. And there's times that I do forget. But we have to remind ourselves all the time, everybody constantly, the first goal should be to enjoy it. To enjoy it. And as you enjoy it, you're relaxed. And as you're relaxed, it's easier to be yourself. And when it's easier to be yourself, it's easier to achieve your dreams and your goals. Because if you think about your dreams and your goals, in order to achieve your dreams and your goals, you have to be yourself. It's the same thing as getting into the best relationship for you, finding the best. Like my first goal was you can see there's the children there, 3 kids there, and there's Jocelyn. You can't really see her, but there's Jocelyn and me. My first goal when I started into this was was to have a girlfriend. That was my very first goal. Was to have a girlfriend, was to have somebody that loved me for who I was. And to me, that meant then that it was worthy and that it self-confidence and all these type of things. And that was a massive thing for me, you know. That was really where it started. But if you think about, if you even were to meet the most perfect person for you, if you weren't being yourself, how could you ever meet the most perfect person for you?
So be real.
Yeah. So it's the same as your dreams. If you think, I call them dreams. Some people call them goals. But you think about your dreams. I like to call them dreams because I believe in magic, and I believe there's magic in life. All you have to do is breathe. Where did it come from? From the trees, you might say. Yeah. Where does it go to? Like constantly, everything's magic. Your cells are constantly changing. All your cells change every 11 months. Every single cell is completely changed. It's completely brand new. All the functions that happen automatically, our blood circulating, our breathing in our body, all these things we never even have to think about, our food being digested. If you try to think about it, you give yourself ulcers. That's where it comes from, stress. So you relax away thinking. So being yourself and is the only way of you allowing yourself to have those dreams. And if you think about it, the only thing that ever gets in the way of you allowing yourself to have those dreams or those goals in your life is the doubt of it, is the thought of it, is the am I worthy of it type of question. And that's the wrong question. Bob Proctor always says to me, he says, if you're asking, am I worthy of this goal, you're asking yourself the wrong question. Ask yourself, is this goal worthy of me? Because you're going to spend your time doing it.
Yeah, that's really good. Do you think that? Sorry, we have some questions coming in from Ben. He's got a few questions here, and I'm just kind of read them out. I don't want to kind of go too much off track with Ben with some of the questions, but just touching on that topic of small goals. Do you think that some people in life just generally spend too much time on smaller goals than achieving? They're almost afraid to go for the bigger goals because maybe they've been disappointed before or they haven't achieved that, you know. And what I mean by that is sometimes, you know, we think of small goals and we hit that small goal, but Walt Disney comes along and he has a huge goal and it's just bigger than him and it's bigger than you and I, and he comes along and changes the world, you know. So for the person starting out that maybe hasn't used this thinking before, which is the best? Which do you recommend is the best? The small goal or something bigger or larger than the individual?
You have to have your dreams, but you may not set your dreams, or you may not set your dreams as a goal, and it all depends on language. And sometimes somebody has a goal that's small, but you know, you can look at it. It's not really for. I couldn't judge such a thing, if you know what I mean, because it wasn't, because it's secret to the person. But I would say, you know, just start. I can remember I would have been afraid of certain things, if you know what I mean. So like I just started getting out of my comfort zone, like silly things. Like I had to walk down the street and I thought to myself, this is the type of things I had done. I thought to myself, you know, generally I'd be afraid to shout across to that person on the other side of the street because I don't know them. And they'd just go, hey, how you doing? And I wouldn't even know them. But I was doing that to break my pattern, to break out of the comfort zone. So I'd say, you know, cherish your dreams and believe in your dreams and take the steps. I suppose the goals are really the steps, Kevin, is what you're saying there. And I suppose it's take the steps. Like this evening there, I'm doing another venture next year, and it's going to be a world record. In Ireland, I'm starting on the 1st of June, and I'm finishing on the 30th of July. I'll not say everything about it right now, but I was doing out the plan there. Well, it wasn't a full plan, but I was doing out what I call training events, because the training events are going to be launched out to the media as in lead up to what I'm doing. And I suppose in a way you could say those are goals. They're smaller goals. They're steps to achieve the bigger one. But your goals, it's a good question, Gavin, because your goals should always be in line with your vision. As you're saying with Walt Disney's vision was huge because it still lives on even though he's gone. an interesting thing that was said about Walt Disney. There was a journalist, kind of a smarmy type of journalist, and he came up to Walt Disney's son, and he said to Walt Disney's son, he says, "It's an awful pity," he says, "your father isn't here to see this Epcot Centre." And the son said, he says, he did see it. Because if he didn't see it, you wouldn't see it now. He seen it first of all in his mind. He seen it with his imagination. And then it came about. So a vision can be bigger than you, and it can go beyond you. And it's nice to have that dream and to hold that, because that gives you purpose. But in order for it to be achieved, you have to take the steps. And the steps can be, as you say, the small goals. It can be like the goal to do 100 press-ups in a row. You can start with doing 5.
So inch by inch, everything's a cinch. Ben has got a question here. So he's actually said, apart from your 100 marathons, 100 days, which such as a goal or a finish time. Did you have a finish time? Such as a finish time goal or finishing in the top 25? Did you have? I think what Ben is getting at here is when you were in the marathon. What kind of goal did you have and finishing time? Did you have a finishing time in mind? Did you have a goal to achieve the top 25, or was it?
Whenever we started at the start, the first 10, whenever we started at the start, the purpose was to achieve run the 100 marathons in 100 days. So the purpose was just to run. As we went along, got fitter and got faster. And then by the time we got to the Donegal, which was the quadrathon, which I won that. It was a fairly stiff competition. It was 4 marathons, 4 days. It was probably marathon 84, 85, 86, 87. I didn't have a time in my mind, but my first goal was, I'm going to enjoy this. The second goal is, I'm going to run well. And the third goal is, I'm going to win. So with that one, I won a good few marathons and that there. But time wise, I suppose the fastest time I've done was 3 hours and 4. So in Donegal, I done 3 hours 11. The next day I done 3 hours and 6. The next day I done 3 hours and 12. And the next day I done 3 hours and 4. And they'd be all, hills and mountains and stuff like that there. I was still a bit in the tank, but my goal was never, I could have pushed it on a bit harder, but my goal was to finish the 100 marathons. So
which is amazing.
This is what I do. I was running the Carrickmore Marathon there a couple of weeks ago, and I was running and I was out enjoying it. And these 2 boys were up behind me, and they were just right behind me for 13 miles, and they were breathing really, really, really heavy. And I was just saying, a load of people in the way past them, they're breathing really heavy, and afterwards I just slowed down. Hey guys, go on ahead there. You know what I mean? They're over 5 minutes. Go on ahead there. And then the guy came past me and he was frothing at the mouth, and they would have come in faster times than me and per competitor and pushing hard. But my first goal is to enjoy it. As I said earlier on, I've done that before, as in like making things hard. And I even said to myself, sometimes I caught myself, I'd run down the avenue, say, I'm going to run down this avenue hard, because I'm talking about the language here. And I would stop myself then, because I would remember, if you do anything hard, you get hurt. So I would immediately pull back, and I would say, no, I'm going to go down this avenue relaxed, efficient, light, fast, strong.
It's an incredible mindset, isn't it, really, to have that. And that's actually something that, okay, I'm not the world's greatest runner, but actually, Steve, you did inspire me to do a 4K. So thank you for that. That was my little achievement, but I also started Bushido as well, because of your kind of thinking. And during that training process, I used those techniques that you've shared. So I have used them a number of occasions, and will continue to use them and share them with the group down there as they continue to do their achievements. Dave is here. I know Dave is with us this evening. Dave is also in the fitness niche, and I know he probably has 1 or 2 questions. So Dave, if you are there, just type it in the box there, and we'll open the seat maybe and bring you into the conversation as well. I'm sure you'd like to ask Stevie some questions. I know he was talking to us earlier. He has another event to get to, so maybe if it's it's good. We can do that. If not, good evening, Sam. Hi, Kev. Good to come on for a minute.
Yeah. Something to me there now. See you then.
Hi, Sam. How are you doing? Good to have you on board. Dave, pop in for a minute and just say hello. Here's Dave. Dave may have to refresh. We'll just wait and see what happens. Technology is wonderful. When it works. Dave, good evening to you. How are you, sir?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Well, Dave, how's it going? Keep it going.
Good stuff. First of all, I just want to congratulate you, Stevie, on such an inspiring achievement.
Cheers. Thank you.
I watched you and watched your events over the 100 days, and as always, you're an inspiring individual anyway. But that was one hell of an achievement, and
Cheers,
it's great that you've managed to touch so many people, over that 100 days, and that's going to live on as well for all the people it's going to continue touching. As Kev said, you got Kev running, so you're off to a flyer.
Well, absolutely, saying he sparked that in me there now. It's the knock-on effect. It's like the chain. There's people out there that inspire me, and there's guys that have run loads of more marathons inspire me. But the thing that inspires me the most is seeing people starting. Because see, whenever you start something, that's when it's the hardest. It's the toughest whenever you start. And anybody that goes out there and runs or starts an exercise program or gets stuck into something, after maybe not having done it for a while, I take my hat off, and those are the people that really, really inspire me. You could say, you run 100 marathons, you say, well, I'm never going to do that, or whatever it is. It's not about that, you know what I mean, or what Rude and me, or whatever it is. It's about doing what you feel and feeling better. I can remember when I was starting off running around Armagh here, I thought to myself, right, I never really was that fond of running too far, you know what I mean? Because I'd been driving through Armagh and I'd seen people running and then puffing and panting, and there's a big grumpy heads in them and stuff like this here, So I decided whenever I was going running that if I was running and there's any cars coming, I'd make sure they'd be smiling. So we running and be smiling. Because you never know who's going to pass you in the car, and they can look at you and go, geez, that fella there looks happy. I might go out and try a bit of running too, you know what I mean? And it's a knock-on effect. Kevin's out there doing it. I think it's karate chopping you're doing, Kevin, or something like that there.
Exactly.
But probably paddling.
He's already inspiring other people to be doing that. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. And again, that's the power of it. As you said, it's making that decision to just make that start. That's a key part. And again, I know a driver for you, obviously you have your own personal ambitions with anything you do personally or in business, but you're passionate again about helping and inspiring others to make that change. And that again's the power of what we all can do. It's like with Kev, you going running, someone saw you running. They may have gone running that afternoon just because they saw you running. So we can all do so much to inspire others to make a change. And I suppose that's nearly like the duty that we do have, in every action we do, even a simple thing like that, making a smile, just having a smile at someone. That could be the one thing that brightens up their entire day. They might be having the worst day ever, and that smile has just sparked them into a change in their day, So, hats off to you, Stevie. Again, I've always inspired everything you do. You're a great guy. And, Kev, thanks for creating this call, because I know myself from running these kind of calls regularly, it's not easy putting it together. So, and hats off for you for providing and organising this for people all over the world to get on.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. You're always welcome. Dave also is an inspiring athlete as well, and I've seen from some of his work that he's doing. He's also doing tremendous work. So, Dave, great to have you on board. Keep her going.
We will, and you too. Keep her lit, as Stevie always says.
Keep her lit. Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be the name of the book. Keep her lit.
Perfect.
Keep her lit. Yeah.
I better jump off onto my. Or do you just ask a quick question, or yeah? Just have to jump onto my phone.
Yeah. If you want to, Dave, work away.
Yeah. I suppose someone for a lot of people who are listening to what you're saying. It sounds amazing to them. It sounds fantastic what they can achieve. They'll feel inspired, but what I suppose that main tip you'd give them to actually just go and take that action to actually make them go and set a massive goal and to actually go and make it start. What's that kind of main tip you'd give them?
What's that again, Dave?
Main tip you give. So say someone, like a lot of people think what you achieved was amazing as it was, and while part of them would like to believe it's possible for them, it might seem too far reaching for them. How would you?
The main thing I'd say is, I've had different big goals before, but the main thing I'd say is that you've got to listen to yourself. You know what I mean? And if it's coming from your heart and it feels right, then it is right. And I think that's a part about getting to know yourself better. And a lot of people always talk about this, about getting to know yourself better. I used to struggle with it a lot, about getting to know yourself better. And the simplest, as in how people explain it, but the simplest way that I can explain it is, if you stop telling yourself lies, then it's easier to get to know yourself better. And like, we all tell ourselves wee bits and pieces of life, but if you catch yourself, then you can stop it. So, for instance, if you catch yourself going into the poor me story, that's when you're telling yourself lies. I can use French here, I would say, cut the shit. You know what I mean? And then you get to know yourself better. Like, no matter what the circumstances or the situation is, if you look at the reality of it, you go, right, okay, and then you understand maybe how you got into that situation, then you understand how you're going to get out of that situation, and the answers come easier, and then it feels more genuine, and as it feels more genuine, then the goals and the things and the dreams that happen easier. It was like Sadie, I was talking about Nicky Catherine, first of all, like, and I tell that story a lot of things, would be the realization of what you truly want versus sometimes the things that can be portrayed to you and you think that you need to have or should have in order to be up to standard with everybody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, makes sense. I love the light.
Hi Sam, how are you? We're going to go down to Sam. Dave, thanks for jumping on. Appreciate it. I'll see you later, Dave.
See you there.
Yes, Sam. You know Sam, Steve?
How's it going, Sam? No, I don't know you, Sam. How you doing?
What? You don't know me? Oh my God, I'm disgusted now. I'm just going to have to go. I just followed you there on Twitter. I just followed you on Twitter. So, no, well done. Fair play to you. I'm just popping in because I know Kevin from Twitter, and just to give a bit of support as well, but also just to say that I started walking and running 5K, and I think I'm great. But like, I stopped smoke. I haven't stopped smoking yet, and smoking seems to be my thing. And it's like I'm clinging onto it for dear life, and like I gave up drinking 7.5 years ago, so I don't drink at all anymore. But yet I just seem to be, I just can't seem to do the cigarettes. So, and I do love that when I'm running, so I get the buzz, and then I'm like, I really feel good afterwards. And then just, so have you any advice for someone like me, that is just starting, that, I visualize, I have a vision board, and I have Nike girl on the vision board, and I want to be like her,
Yeah, I understand, yeah.
And every time I see someone like you running, I go, I really want to be them,
Just be yourself. That's the easiest thing. Like, and you can beat yourself up, and a lot of people do beat themselves up. And I've been through all this, beating yourself up for drinking, beating yourself up for eating a chocolate biscuit, beating yourself up for watching TV that you shouldn't be watching, and thinking that you need to be some type of a monk. I stopped drinking myself for 6 years at one stage, and I started drinking again last year, and I would only drink now, if I was drinking now, I would only drink 1 or 2 beers, but I had a couple of sessions last year that I probably drank too much. But in a way, I felt that I needed that, because I had a few other things going on or whatever. And there was times whenever I wasn't drinking over those 6 years, and I'd been like, oh, I'd love a beer, or I'd love to do this, and they wouldn't. No, we can't do that because I have to be a certain way.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a certain way. I would say, as long as you feel that you're in control of it, as long as you feel that you're in control of it, and you dictate it, and you determine it, because beating yourself up over something is not going to help. So, like, if you're saying, right, if you're focusing on, and here's a tip for you, if you really do, be honest with yourself first of all. If you really do want to stop smoking, be honest with yourself. And then if you were to take it like this, and you were to say, then if you decided and you thought, oh yeah, maybe you do want to smoke, but then you might think to yourself, well, whenever you're smoking, am I doing this because I do want to do it, or am I doing this because I'm addicted?
Okay.
And whenever you're addicted to something, then it's important to break that pattern. But everyone, when they focus on about they want to change something, most people focus on, and I would know this with ladies, a lot of focus on, I want to lose weight, I want to stop smoking, I want to stop drinking, and it's always the negative side of what they want to quit doing. So, for example, if I say to you, stop smoking, what's the first picture that flashes on the screen of your mind? If I say, stop smoking, what's the first thing you see?
I'd
rebel, say, don't eat that
rebel against you.
Don't eat that chocolate cake. What's the first thing you see in your mind?
Yeah,
see the cake.
You're bossing me around, like.
Yeah. If I say lose 2 stone, what's the first thing people notice? They notice the 2 stone. No, it's not you. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking in general. I'm not talking to you. But what I'm saying, I'm talking in general.
Yeah.
Your mind works in pictures.
Okay.
So your mind works in pictures. So whatever you put into your mind, you focus on. So if I say stop smoking, what picture comes into the screen of your mind? If I say stop smoking, what picture comes to your mind?
Oh, struggle.
Okay. What else? What picture comes to your mind if I say stop smoking? Yeah.
Well, I don't smoke, so I'm okay, you know.
Right.
So,
so if I say smoking, what comes to your mind?
Dirt.
Smoking, dirt.
Well, for me, it's a cigarette. You know what I mean? Because if you're smoking, it's a cigarette. So anytime you're saying, if you're focused on stopping smoking, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Okay. Well, like that's why I have that girl on my vision board, because I want her. I want to be Nike girl. I want to be.
If you go into the garden, you go into the garden, right? And you've got a watering can, and you water the weeds will grow. But if you water the roses and the fruits and the flowers, they'll grow. So whatever you give energy to will grow. So if you're saying, I'm stopping smoking, or if you're saying, I'm free, I'm clear, I'm healthy, I'm bright, feel good, and you focus on where you're going. And anytime your mind goes off that, you bring your mind back onto where you're going, then everything else will fall away. And I had a friend, and he was an alcoholic, and I would have been a heavy enough drinker at one stage in my life. And the two of us were driving in the road here in Armagh, and he turned around to me and he says to me, he says, Stevie, he says, I don't know how you do it. He says, I don't know how you do it. Fair play to you. I don't know how you get off the drink. I don't know how you do it. And I says to him, I says, look, I says, you know the difference, I says, me and you. The only difference in me and you is that I says, we're driving past that pub, and you see the pub, and you see that you're not going into it. I said, we're driving past the pub, I don't even see the pub. I'm seeing something else.
Yeah.
I'm focused on something else. And maybe sometimes if you do want to quit something, or if you do want to give something up, maybe you're giving it too much energy and too much attention. Maybe you should be diverting your energy into what you do want to do.
Yeah, I find when I do the walk and your
mind can't do a negative.
Yeah.
It can do it with willpower for a little while, but your mind cannot continue doing it negative. Your mind only hears what you put into it. So if you say don't smoke, it hears smoke.
Yeah.
So you don't even think that. What you do is you set yourself a bigger goal, which is going to create a bigger challenge, which is going to automatically make you make those changes. But be honest with yourself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Kevin, are you going to Fermanagh? Because we're going to be up your way now on the 14th, you know, Stephen.
She's putting pressure on me now.
I'm not putting pressure on you. I'm just saying, are you going? Because like, it'd be interesting. Bring Stephen along if you are. That's all I'm saying.
14.
Well, Stevie's an incredible speaker. You should, you know, he needs to have the stage. He needs to be on the stage at one of your, honest to God. Sam,
speaking on Friday. If any of you are about, we're speaking on Friday. I know Gavin's going to be there in Dublin in the Ballsbridge Hotel. We're doing an event, and there's a lady coming over from America called Laura Langmuir. She was out of the movie The Secret, which was seen by over 200 million people. She's going to be speaking as well too. My good friend Declan Ly's also going to be speaking as well. He wrote a book called Oscar for Life.
Stephen, tweet me the link, or Kevin, tweet me the link later, and I'll retweet it for you.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have to go. I just popped in to say hello. But thank you so much, Stephen. And I love Armagh as well. I've been up there a few times. It's lovely. So I'll see you guys, and take care, and I'll see you on Blab again. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thantake Stephen.
Take care. Enjoy, Smocker.
Yeah, Stevie, make sure that you follow Samantha. She's got a tremendous following. She works with
this Twitter thing, Kevin.
Don't worry about it. We'll put you in touch. See the pictures above your screen there. Okay, you'll see people up there. Okay, these are people that are tuned in to you. You'll just see it above your screen where you are. You'll see little circles.
See that? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you can see Sam there, and just press follow her. Okay, Sam does a lot of work on Twitter. She has a business group here where Irish Biz Party is their name of the group. And basically what it is she gathers a lot of business owners together. And on Wednesday night, they kind of use Twitter as a way to communicate back and forward. So she's doing an event in Fermanagh. And she's going to have some people speak at that. So, you should actually connect with her, because it'd be a great one to get along, and she'll do you all the world and good for tweeting it out. Okay. So I know Sam will help us with that as well. So that event coming up is definitely worth talking to Sam about. Okay. She's a must have. So we'll definitely do something there, or get something organized, in relation to speaking at an event for sure. Just some other people have dropped in as well, and if you want to jump in and ask Stevie any questions, you're welcome to do that. We have an open seat there. Stevie has run 100 marathons in 100 days, an incredible achievement. He has a mindset of a winner, no question about it. But if you have any questions that you want to pour forward to him, Gary, I was talking to you during the week. I'm sure, Gary, if you want to jump in on the seat, don't be worrying about it too much. Just come on board here, and you can ask Stevie a question directly. Sam, thanks again for coming in board. So, Stevie, you did all this, and you did all this for, obviously you had your own goals and that, but would you just tell the people that are listening to this evening some of the benefits of you running the 100 marathons, and who really has benefited from this whole experience?
Well, myself and Lori were in two places last Friday, and we were up with Cash for Kids and Newton Arts, and we gave them a substantial donation of money. And then we were down with another guy called Cian, with his people, giving them money too. Cian has to get a double lung transplant at the minute, so he's only 4 years of age. It's up on my Facebook page in there. So we've several other kids to get around. We've another child here, Eva here from Katie, and another girl, Grace, from over in Galway, and that. And that's what the money was raised for. It was to benefit children that were suffering, and themselves and their family needing a bit of help for them to have easier lives. And that's where the money has went towards. And it's also going into projects that are going into schools as well too, for aspirational stuff to help kids realise their potential and to release more of that potential and believe in themselves. And that was the purpose of doing the marathons. And then also the impact that you would have then outside of that by breaking boundaries that were previously here. As it was a new Irish record. It's the first time anybody in Ireland has run 100 marathons in 100 days. It's the first time anybody had done more than 32. Jerry Duffy, a guy called Ken Whitelaw, had done 32 marathons in 32 days back in 2010. So it went beyond previous limitations, previous barriers. And a lot of people would have thought that it wasn't possible. So it just lifts the bar for everybody and raises the thing up, and get a lot of people out there running and say that, you're out doing your thing, Kevin, inspiring more people. And a lot of runners that came out to us that were outrun or maybe wouldn't have ran as much this year, but they have inspired other people, and they're inspiring other people. And there's a lot of people out doing this helping us, like Peter Verse and Sean Smith and Shane Mullen and Jeremy and Colley, and loads of people that come out and organise races for us. The Jason Bourne to run as well in Gosford Park. Clive Nesbitt done loads of work too. And they got people together, they got runners going, they organised groups, and it just brought a whole lot of people together. And that's the thing about a big goal. A big goal, in order for it to happen, brings a lot of people together. And they all inspired us and each other and out and beyond.
So, like, when you're starting out, okay, and you're running a marathon in the beginning, I mean, I was talking to some people, and I know you, Steve, so I knew that you're a man of your word. But, you know, even talking to some people saying that what you were doing, their mindset was, you know, that's crazy. He's mad. He's what, you know, why not just one kind of thing, you know? And yet you go on, you break the barriers, and then of course you just said about Larry, and Larry obviously he's an experienced athlete as well, and he had accomplished, what was it, 60? Was it 60 marathons with you alongside you?
Yeah, and he'd done, so, like, you know, yeah, it broke the previous barriers, so it did. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Up to that point, I don't think anybody had achieved 60 marathons like that in this country, had they? You know, and Larry actually goes on and does that, and then you've got all this support and momentum growing as people come on board and see you accomplish one after the other. I can remember your posts just suddenly, it almost seemed to have a snowball effect in relation to people cheering you on more. In the beginning, it was a bit shy, but you just seem to gain more and more momentum for it as it went along, you know, and people were nearly cheering you, you know, even if they weren't running alongside you, they were willing you on to succeed. And that's actually amazing, because I find that once you're setting out on a goal and you started, you know, maybe nobody believes in you in the beginning, and it just takes that ultimate belief just to kind of break through and show you that I can do it.
No, not for me.
Not for you.
Not for me. Like, I went through all that before. I said, like, I'd have been through that whenever I'd have been in business at the start and going from my first goals, as I mentioned earlier on, about 5,000 members and all. I would have had that. But for me, it was just, it was a personal challenge. It's about controlling your own emotions, and you can't control anybody else's emotions or show them what you can do or prove them wrong or any of that type of stuff. Sometimes if you're racing somebody and you're racing, there's a wee bit of grit there, and they're going, I'm gonna beat you and I'm gonna catch you, and you kind of be like, you know, you put in a bit of grit there. But outside of that, you know, there's nobody to impress, and it was just a personal thing. As in, you can do it and you know that it's going to do good. It's like, there was a lot of lonely days. Like, there was a lot of, like, whenever we finished, there were 600 people at the finish line, and it was fantastic. It was here, just outside my hometown here, just up the road here, you know, and it was fantastic. And there was people that I hadn't seen in years, and that come out, and there's people that I hadn't talked in years that contacted me and helped me with things, and the fellas that I went to primary school with and different things. And it was just so humbling, like, to see, like, here's some people out, like, everybody's got lives and everybody's doing their own thing, and, you know, everyone has a lot on, because I know my life's busy and I know I'm no different than anybody else, but it was just so humbling to see people spending time to come out and actually donating money and being there for you, and, like, and you're coming down and they're just happy and they're smiling, and it's just, it's very, very, very humbling. So, yeah, at the start we would have said to people, and there was two reactions. They've been like, couldn't believe it, and then the other reaction was the person who told somebody and they just didn't hear it. It was almost, it just bounced off their mind and they didn't hear it. But you know, you can't blame somebody for that either. It's, you know, but as it went along, you know, they started to believe, like, so. People hear a lot of things, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, brilliant. I have just a question coming in here from Bronze Body, I think it is. An amazing accomplishment, Stephen. How did your feet hold up during those miles? Aye,
that's interesting. And I probably have about 2 minutes left here, and I'm just let people know, you know. But that's a good question, and a lot of people ask that question. You know what? I never got one blister, not one blister.
Amazing.
Yeah, and my feet never had any issue at all. And again, I put down the good socks and good runners, good trainers.
Yeah, yes.
Also, I'd done the training. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't as if, you know, I had done the training. I'd done the main training, and I also done the body training. But I didn't have, my feet are great. I think I have a toenail off, or maybe a couple of toenails here and there off, or something like that. You know what I mean? But I've been used to that over this last couple of years anyway. But I never got a blister, and I never had any challenges with my feet at all.
It's amazing.
I'm a true 5 pairs of runners. Each pair of runners has about 550 odd miles on them. Maybe one pair is a bit more because I trained with them first of all. But I was blessed, really, you know.
And like, okay, when you came to the finish line of the last day, that must have been really overwhelming for you, and you had family, friends, and everybody hanging around, and the sense of achievement. Just in that moment, just describe, the feeling that you had. I mean, it must have been just, you must have been on adrenaline, were you, at that stage?
Yeah, I was very relaxed. I was very relaxed. Because I came down and I had to go around a wee bit, because I always, no matter where the finish line is, I have to make sure I do 26.2 mile, because 26.2 mile is what they call an official marathon. Now, it was originally 26 mile, but they moved it around the 1960s because in London at the Olympics that time, the Queen moved up 0.2 of a mile. She was sitting up here, so they had to move the finish line up there so she could see the runners. So the original marathon's 26 mile. It was a guy ran from one town in Greece to another town called Marathon. It was 26 mile away. And he shouted the words, "Rejoice! Rejoice! The war is over." And they dropped down dead. So that's what I thought it'd be a good idea to copy that. But it was an amazing feeling. I'd say it was so humbling, Gavin, because I was coming down the avenue, and the finish line was there. And like, there was just people all the way laying down both sides, like, and they were clapping for me, like, they were cheering, like, and they were smiling, and they were happy and everything, like, and it was amazing. And I just crossed the finish line, and my mother was there, and my wife Catherine, and the children all were there, and I must have shook hands with 500 people, and they must have took 500 photographs. I got photographs took with everybody. And there's a tune. It's kind of funny the way things work. I believe that in the law of attraction as well. And it's funny the way things work. There's a song that I always play when I do a seminar. It's called "The Chariots of Fire." Yeah. And I didn't tell the guys what to play or anything, but whenever I was coming in, they were playing this song, "The Chariots of Fire," like this here. And then they gave me a bottle of champagne and stood up on top of the podium and throwing the champagne around everybody, you know. But it was just so humbling, because people were, like, amazed at me. They were, going on, they're amazed, and they're looking, they were clapping, and they followed me on Facebook and stuff. But I was equally amazed at them, the fact that they had come out to see it.
Just to see it.
And give their support. So they were going, brilliant, legends, and all this type of stuff. But I was like, thank you for coming out. Like, really, it's appreciated. It's great to see you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, just I suppose we just tell some people about the Lori Maguire Foundation. I mean, that's just something that you've been doing all this running and that kind of stuff. But tell the folks about that, and what positive impact you have been able to do with some of the funds that are being raised. I know you were giving out some there during the week, which was tremendous. I saw yourself and Larry on Facebook doing that, and that's just remarkable. I mean, you did this. You didn't do it for financial gain. You didn't do it for, anything like that, but you did it for a charity, which is equally amazing as running 100 marathons itself. So do you want to share a little bit about that to the people, and who's benefiting
sure that,
from
and then I got to go. As I was saying, the Lori Maguire Foundation was Lori's sister, and she died at the age of 7. And obviously, you can imagine with any young child down in the family that the family would go through a lot of hardship and a lot of tough times.
Yeah.
So Lori, whenever he became more of the age and he started having kids himself, he only realised the impact of what it actually did have on his own family and how it would have felt for his parents, and not losing a child, and like any of us that have children, it would be very, very tough. You just know that. So he wanted to do something,
of course,
and say he was in the seminar and he shared the vision with me, he shared the story with me, and then we set up the Lori Maguire Foundation himself and his sister Deirdre and myself set up the Lori Maguire Foundation. It's a children's charity, and it's to help children and parents that are going through tough times. And also the other leg of it is to help kids with aspirational stuff. So kids in schools, in primary schools and secondary schools, help them realise their potential and to help them to go for what it is that they really want to go for and believe in themselves too as well. So we were able to take the funds and to share it out amongst a lot of kids, and we just went and directly give the money. Like we've a couple of other kids to go to see now in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be giving the money. And I think one of them is terminal at the minute, but we'll be giving the money directly to the family, so they can do what they want with money in regards. If there's a piece of equipment that the child needs to make their life easier, or if they need to take a few months off work in order to spend those last few months with their child. Anything at all that makes it easier for the family. And if anybody would like to donate to the Lori Maguire Foundation, if you go to 100 marathons in 100 days.ie, that's the number 100, 100 marathons in 100 marathons.ie. There's a donate link there, and it will be very greatly received. If you look on my own Facebook page, it's Ask Stevie, or if you search Stevey McGeown, STEVY, or if you look on 100 Marathons Facebook page, you'll see videos there of a couple of kids and things that we already give money to, and a few different charities, and that would be much appreciated.
Right, Stevie, I'm going to pop them in the side box so people can actually go there and view it themselves, and I'll also put your Facebook page in there as well, okay? Because it is a very worthwhile cause, and you've done some tremendous work. And I mean, anybody just to kind of do one marathon, some people, that's a lifetime achievement, and you've really blown that out of the water by doing 100. So all respect to you there, my friend. Just before we do wrap things up this evening, Stevie, if you want to share with people what you're doing over the next couple of days, I know that you have a very exciting event coming up. Just share it one more time about Laura coming over and what she's going to do.
I'll share some stuff. So in case at the minute, I'm redoing all my websites and things like that. So if you search me there, you'll see articles and different bits and pieces. But in order, if you want to learn more or understand more of it, I'll just share a couple of different things. First thing I'll share with you my email address, which is I'll just give you, it's askstevie.com, which is Stevie, STEVY, ask@askstevie.com. And I have a few audios and things there that really benefit people if anyone wants to get them, or want to get in contact or find out more, or if you want to subscribe to the newsletter that I'll have coming up, just send an email or get in contact with Kevin here. And as Kevin says, this Friday, we've got an event coming up. It's in Ballsbridge Hotel in Dublin. I'll be speaking first in the morning time. We've got a lady coming over from America called Laura Langmuir. She's from The Movie Secret. She's seen to over 200 million people. And she'll be sharing about wealth creation I'll be sure the mindset it takes to achieve your highest goals. Declan and I'll be there as well. He'll be sharing about the Oscar for life, how to live from yourself through passion. And we've now again are called Dylan actually coming, and the man called Pat Slattery coming, who's an expert on business networking and mentoring. So it's going to be a phenomenal day. It's going to be 9 to 4. If you'd like to come, we'll see you there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Listen, I'm going to just pop the link into that as well, just so let people know about it and they can go and check it out there. Stevie, it was great to just have that. We said we were going to do an hour and we did an hour and a half, but it was great. And thank you for letting us allow you to kind of tap into your mindset of a winner. We'd love to have you on board again. And I'll connect you with Sam as well, because she's highly influential on Twitter. And she does run her own events here in Ireland as well. So maybe you guys can collaborate and do some networking there, okay? So, Stevie, thanks again. Thanks for joining us. Everybody that has come in today, thanks, Mian. We really appreciate Stevie being. Brian, some feedback coming in there. Brian, thank you, Stevie. Thanks, Gary. Yeah. I'm sure you could follow Gary as well and that kind of stuff. Stevie, go up to the top there and link with him, okay, on this channel. Yep. And be sure to follow Stevie and what he's doing. He's new to Blab, he's new to Twitter, but one thing that he's not new to is a great mindset. So be sure to tag on to this guy and make sure that you don't let go of his coattail anytime soon, because he can really help you achieve some great things in life, okay? That's it, Stevie. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you again soon.
Absolute pleasure, man. All the best.
Slán.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Later.
Bye. There you go, Stevie. We had Stevie there. That was great. And I'm sure you got some great things from it. Brilliant with some great feedback and other stuff as well. Stevie, 100 marathons in 100 days. What a winner indeed he was. And we tapped into some of the mindsets of a winner there. And be sure to follow Stevie on Facebook or Twitter. He's new to the whole Twitter scene and he's new to Blab as well. So go to his Facebook page and drop him a message and just say that you're on the Blab here this evening. And I'm sure he will have a quick chat to you. So that's it this evening. Great to see everybody here. And we'll talk to you again very soon indeed when we run the next Blab. Okay. Slán from Ireland. That means.